Please welcome Tom Keneally.
Well, if you look around this room, you see that the cause is still alive. So it's overwhelming to see all the old faces again. There's a great historian in this room, I think, called John Hurst. I think he's here. And he wrote a book I've recently read called A Sentimental Nation. Is that the year? And it's about the fight for federation. And I recommend A Sentimental Nation to you. It makes federation seem so sexy. And it makes it seem so dramatic as it was. And it shows how long it took, and therefore it's consolation for Republicans. 1991 was an easier time in some ways. There was no GFC, easier time to launch a movement like this. There was no carbon tax debate, no disintegration of the European community, no Alan Kohler graphs on the ABC to terrify us everybody. No rancid immigration debate. And there were good Australians there that intoxicating day in 1991 where we took a deep breath and declared the cause. And many of those Australians are here tonight. One's been left off the text, who was a young man at that time, possibly the youngest and extremely glamorous man, called David Hill. I'd like to mention him because he wasn't mentioned. But of course there's Mark, they've just seen Jenny P. It's wonderful to see all these young faces shining out of people who are inevitably 20 years older. And they were great and noble citizens, and I salute them. But we did normalize the Republican idea. Our presidents brought Republicans out of the woodwork. And to the extent now that, as happened, as John Hurst shows happening in A Sentimental Nation, people say now it's going to happen, there's no problem. We are half a republic now and half not a republic. Our citizenship oath doesn't mention the monarch, our oath of allegiance does. And we're in an intermediate stage. We're out of the chrysalis, but we're not a butterfly yet. The head's our queen of state, but we don't want to emphasize this. I'd just like to attack in conclusion the idea we ought to wait for the queen to die. This proposition is that we're doing something naughty. Bernie's getting his own flat and he's living in sin, but don't tell Granny, she'll die, and then it can be talked about. It would be appropriate that if we ever do become a republic, it should not depend on the heart condition of the monarch. It should be at our initiative and by our own imperative. I'd like to pay tribute to the people who've kept the ARM going in the years it wasn't glamorous, and who have brought us here tonight, including Professor Warhurst and General Keegan. Now, we were cheeky and young. Mark Day had black hair. I didn't have any hair, but I was actually thin. Jenny P has not changed, of course. Lord Geraldine. But while perhaps having taken too many glasses of wine, I scribbled out doggerel on a chart up at Lismore at a Republican dinner, and I've adapted it to be less confrontational and suited to this age. They said we could not do it, devise a scheme that's ours and owes what it is to you and me, and not some distant house. But if we cannot do it, change the ancient for the free, the world will never know who we were, and nor the hell will we.
I can't but agree with you about the whole idea of pegging this question of national significance on the health or otherwise of the Queen. Although I do think that as, you know, firm believing Republicans, we should all pray, if we pray, or do whatever atheists or non-believers do, for the long good health of Prince Charles. I think that could help just a little bit.